Ideal Protein Nation. Hey, it's me again. Like a bad penny, I keep coming back. Welcome to the Life Possible podcast. I've got a great episode for you today. A great episode as we are entering the holidays, as well as we're looking forward to January when so many people are going to be wrestling with their decision as far as how are they going to lose weight in the new year? What are they going to do? I've got somebody that's so inspiring for you that hopefully she's going to convince you that the Ideal Protein program is right for you. So let me just, for anybody who's new to the show, I want to introduce the Life Possible podcast. The Life Possible podcast spotlights successful clients, coaches, and clinic owners who have used the Ideal Protein protocol to reset their body, reset their mind, and actually reset what's possible for their lives. These people they've had life-changing experiences with the Ideal Protein program. And as a result of that, they're pursuing goals and dreams that they might have thought were dead and gone. They're pursuing goals and dreams that they never thought they could. In some cases, they're pursuing goals and dreams they never dreamed they even wanted to try. In short, these people are living a life so precious that they can't even imagine going back to the way they used to live. They're living what we call life possible. Who am I and why am I even doing this? Well, I tell you what, it's kind of a long and sordid story, but I will tell you, back in 2014, now there's no easy way to put this, but I was overweight, sick, and depressed. And what's worse is I didn't see a way out. And I truly believe that God brought me the Ideal Protein program as the answer to so many of my prayers, both personally and professionally. Today, and as a result of doing the program, I live a life I consider to be healthy, vibrant, and alive. And through this personal experience, I've discovered that the true power of the Ideal Protein protocol is more what it does for us on the inside than anything it does on the outside. It's been my passion to research and understand the science behind this protocol that empowers people to lose transformational weight, restore their metabolic health, and power them to their life goals and dreams. I am dedicated to getting the word out so that the Ideal Protein program will no longer be the best kept secret in weight loss. So who do I have for you today? Oh, I'm so excited. I've got not one, but two people today. First off, I've got one of my great Ideal Protein friends, Pauline Johnson. She is a successful Ideal Protein clinic owner and coach in Washington State at Aspire Wellness. She has two locations, one in Burlington and one in Linden. And I look up to Pauline in so many different ways. She runs an amazing clinic and she's helped so many people transform their lives. And also, so we're going to be featuring one of her most successful clients, Tina Wells. Tina lost over 100 pounds 2 years ago, and she's been able to maintain that weight loss very successfully ever since. So let's stop talking, John. Bring them out. Where are they? Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Well, thank you.
Good.
I see what you did there, Tina. Well, Tina Wells. Oh, no.
Very well. Thank you.
Very well, if you do say so. Hey, I wanted to thank you, ladies, for taking the time today. As you know, I'm very passionate about this, and so are you, Pauline, for sure. But when we get a successful client like Tina, who is just such an amazing example, not just of somebody taking the program on to lose the weight, but adopting a lifestyle and actually maintaining that weight loss. I can't wait to bring her story to Ideal Protein Nation.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm super excited. She's an inspiration all day long.
Absolutely. So I wanted to start off real quick, too, because I also think so many clinic owners and coaches are amazing people themselves. And I want to, real quick, I'd just like for you to kind of tell us, Pauline, how did you even get involved in Ideal Protein, and what kind of spurred you into creating Aspire Wellness?
So the clinic that I now own and run started with my brother, who's a chiropractor, like you are, John.
Awesome.
And he, in 2009, had a patient that had struggled with their weight for a really long time. And he'd been getting flyers from Ideal Protein about the protocol, and they'd kind of just been pushed aside. And then he, for some reason, decided, hey, I'm going to buy this kit or protocol or whatever it was at that time in 2009, and I'm going to let this client do it, because this client he'd been working with for years to try to get help, and they weren't getting any help, or they weren't getting success. So he bought what he needed to buy, and he put this one patient on the protocol. And as we both know, they successfully lost 100 pounds. Really,
the first one right out of the gate.
Yeah. And this patient actually, interestingly, they were like high 200s, got down to like 199 and kept their weight off for years there, came back and saw me later, got down to like 160, and then years later, and now lives in the 130 range, this female. So it's kind of cool because her journey has changed throughout her time. But anyway, he helped her. And then he and my brother, who are partners in their clinic, and then some other family members decided to try the protocol, and they were just blown away. They were blown away with it. And so he decided to bring it into his practice. And that's where it sat for a couple of years. And then in 2012, after I had twins and I was going to be home a lot, he said, hey, do you want to take this over? It's just a few hours a week.
Yeah. And the rest, they say, is history.
So now our Aspire Wellness has helped people lose over 70,000 pounds and hundreds of clients. And we have just so much to be thankful for. And it's just really cool. Like I literally consider it a privilege with every single person that we get to help restore their hope. I mean, it's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful way to put that, right? It just truly, it is a privilege to work with each and every client, restoring hope, goals, dreams, things that we thought were gone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah. So Tina, let's jump into your story. As with most clients, can you expound a little bit upon kind of your life and when weight started to become an issue for you, and tell us a little bit about that?
Well, my weight's been an issue for the majority of my life. Okay. Mainly probably getting into middle school. I mean, I've had small successes through my journey in life of having some weight loss, building it back up that weight, losing weight again, putting more back on. I've done the whole yo-yo routine, but the majority of my time until I found this wonderful program, I was suffering a great deal of pain, a great deal of shame, a great deal of embarrassment and depression. So my relationship with food was more of a volume, portion, eating pie for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
So there's that.
So I had my
pie diet.
Food was just I loved to binge. I don't know if I've ever really felt that I had any kind of like disorders or anything like that, but I just struggled. I'd tried everything. I've done the Weight Watchers. I've done down to the cabbage soup diet, down to the eating of bananas all day. I've done it all. I've worked out endless hours in the gym and Zumbas and body pumps and anything I could do, but it wasn't sustainable for me. And I found this lovely place from the buffet across the street.
And so, we talked about that when we first met, and you were talking about, I was at the Asian buffet and I looked across the street. Tell me about that.
Well, I looked over there and said, Wellness, what is that? And so I would drive by and kind of peek through the windows, and then I would drive by again after my next visit to the buffet.
I was going to say, I remember that you were saying the buffet was at least a twice a week kind of a thing for you.
Probably good once a week. Yeah. You know, had to have that. What is it called? It's a shrimp, coconut shrimp, endless amounts. I'd throw some beans in there and broccoli too, but that didn't really count. So then I got online and I researched a little bit of what I could, find out about it. And then I just simply made the choice. I made the choice to walk through the door. And that day, I didn't go home and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't flinch about it. I made the choice that day to sign up and met some wonderful people and started my journey.
Yeah. I love how you, during our previous conversation, you were talking about how making the decision is actually the hardest part.
Yeah.
Right. And kind of talk to us a little bit about what went into making that decision.
I think I really had to reflect on all of the things that I tried, all of the results I had or hadn't gotten or received. My pain level. My pain level was an all-time high for autoimmune.
And why?
I have an autoimmune disorder, a connective tissue disease.
Okay.
And so the inflammation, who'd have thunk that food had so much to do with it?
You thought.
With all the plans I'd done before, I never really got a chance to learn. I mean, I could have done the research myself, but there was nobody there to teach me what all of this stuff meant and how important food is. So I just needed to invest, and I invested in me. So I invested in my life, and I was worried about the financial part of it. And then I just had to keep telling myself, invest in your life, because at the end of the day, it's really no more. And we've discussed this before. It's really no more than spending what I would have spent eating out every week or binging on my pie for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A whole
No, 100%. I mean, truly, it can be expensive when you look at it. However, when you pit it against all of the places you go on a regular basis to buy food, fast food, sit down, going out to dinner, and grocery prices these days, right? So, yeah, but I love the fact, because you also had told me that you had other things that you had to spend a lot of money on. There was home issues, right?
Yes. I had just put a roof on my house.
Yeah.
And I had just bought a new car. So I had both of those things stacked kind of against me. But again, I had to make the choice. I had to save my life. I was really going into a deep dive of shame, depression, anxiety, hurt, pain, and that weighed heavily on my youngest child, who had to help me for a long period of time get up out of bed or get up off of the couch. And I was getting to the point where I was very sedentary, very immobile, and just was not being able to have a good quality of life. So that also helped me with my decision.
When I ran back our conversation, that was one of the most impactful things that you had said to me. Because again, how old are you at this point that we're talking about? How old were you?
I was soon to be 50. So I was 49 when I started this.
So 49 years old. And yet in a place where your daughter had to help you get up out of a couch or get up out of bed physically because you couldn't do it on your own.
Correct.
Yeah. And I could see that picture. You can just kind of identify with, like you said, the pain and the shame and the embarrassment. Yeah.
There's other types of embarrassment that go along with it too. When you're trying to travel or go to a park with your kids, get on that ride and have to get off the ride because you can't fit in the ride. So I experienced that for the first time with Chloe, trying to get on the swings at the carnival, and I could not get the buckle on, and I had to get off, and it was awful. And that's another eye opener of, oh my gosh, how far is this going to go? How much bigger am I going to get? How much more uncomfortable is it? Because it wouldn't have stopped if I wouldn't have found this. It wouldn't have stopped. So look at that.
Yeah. And the other thing that I found fascinating is that flying on an airplane as well. And I've heard this from other people, right? They always talk about the seatbelt extender, but you had a workaround for that. What did you do to get away from the seatbelt extender?
I made a choice to fly first class. I did. Well, I was, pretty much 2 seconds away. There was a point where I really struggled getting my seatbelt on. Then I noticed the first time I had flown first class, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited I fit in a seatbelt. But that shouldn't make me want to stay where I'm at. I don't want to fly first class for it. Well, maybe I do.
But for different
at least
reasons,
I can fit in the seat.
Right?
But that's a hard part for people to fly comfortably. It was not comfortable. So it feels great to fit into a, coach.
Right. Well, and it was kind of funny. I was thinking about that as well. Definitely there are extra added costs to a life for somebody who is overweight or somebody who has reached obesity. But I never thought about plane tickets.
Yeah.
Right. But again, we're desperate to do a lot of things to, like I said, save ourselves from embarrassment and shame. And, that's certainly something that doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility for sure. Pauline,
Yes.
As far as when did you meet Tina when she had come into the office? And do you remember back how that all went?
Well, I wasn't Tina's original coach.
Mm-hmm.
I subbed for my coaches a lot. So we met throughout her weight loss journey, but I have been more her coach in weight maintenance than the weight loss. A gal named Heidi, who was a precious friend and coach for that season. Actually, she was basically coaching for about 1.5 years. And she was,
yes, she's amazing. And I miss her and I wish her well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Her son and my son were roughing
together.
There
she is.
There she is.
Yeah, I believe we have a shot of Heidi.
We definitely met each other. I mean, we met each other throughout, but I totally love and am passionate about her phase 3 journey because that's what I shared with her the most. But, going back to cost, I find all the time, like it's really common, like for people to look at it. And so you did a really good job because your why was so significant and powerful, but it's so many people think of it as a additional cost instead of a replacement cost. Right. So in many ways it's a replacement cost if people are willing to have that conversation.
Yeah. It's hard to look at it that way, but she also helped me look at it that way. Cause at first I would always explain how I've had a few people interested in my friend group, and I've got all the information for them, and I've been trying to encourage them, but their fear is the cost as well and how to fit it into their budget. And it's hard to explain that to someone that it really isn't a difference. It is, but it isn't.
Well, I've actually had people in here who keep a really tight budget. And so they can actually look at what they spend on food and they can know how this replacement of food fits in. I've had moms of like 6 or 7 kids who keep a tight budget. And they're like, okay, this is going to be $40 more a week for me. And then I have people who eat out a lot or drink a lot. And if they know their budget, then they actually say they save money.
Right. Yeah.
Because they know. But what's so funny is it's kind of like, I always say this with clients, that before they come in here, that they eat a pie for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, maybe, right? Like, and nobody had an opinion about that. Probably. I bet there was nobody in your life saying like, don't do that.
Right. No.
But then you go to try to change your life and you start eating differently. And suddenly everybody in the world has an opinion about what you're doing.
Right.
And I think the same thing is true of money, right? Kind of like you don't know what you're spending on food. You just spend money on it. You spend $6 for a coffee once or twice a day.
Right.
But then you go on something like this and you're very aware of what you're spending. I mean, it's just kind of funny how, when you have a plan, you're aware of what that plan, how it affects you. And when you don't, then you sometimes are in a gray area.
I found it to be fit perfectly. Like I didn't feel like I was struggling at all financially during this process. So to add to that, I was afraid of it at first. And then when I made the decision, it worked out perfectly. It worked out beautifully and it still does. So no.
And again, just brilliant ways to describe this, Pauline. And I always have to take notes when I'm with Pauline because I'm like, man, replacement costs versus additional. How?
Oh, you're so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm used to. Right. Absolutely. I love what you just said about have pie for breakfast and nobody bats an eye. But the minute you start eating something healthy, everybody's like, whoa, what are you doing?
All the time. Yeah.
Right.
It's one of the many things that they have to overcome. Now, I don't know. We didn't talking about this, but Tina has a stressful job.
Yes.
Crazy hours.
Yes.
And I'd love you to talk about that, because I find a lot of people, that can be an objection to them to really, what I love about Tina's story, and we're going to keep talking about this, but it's not just about that she lost this weight. Like, yes, she has kept it off for 2 years, and not without struggles. Right. But your job and your lifestyle isn't easy either. So tell us a little bit about that.
Correct. Yeah. Well, I'm a casino manager. So
wow.
Almost 28 years I've been there. So, and I work all hours, every hour possible. And because of who I am in the industry, I have to cover other, long hours or night hours, overnight hours. So sometimes I really struggle with the timing of when to eat, how to eat. Mm-hmm. So I'm great at every morning. I have a routine and I make what I need for the day. But in any moment, I'm called back there. Or if I have to switch up my schedule, I work night shifts, day shifts, night shifts. So that's been a little bit of a struggle and a hurdle to get through. Sleep wise, that will really mess with my sleep, which can, cause an adverse effect on some dehydration and stuff. But I feel like I've been able to balance it pretty well. Wow.
Yeah. And that is, Pauline, you're right about people with stressful jobs and crazy schedules. I don't know if I can do. In fact, I kind of feel like it just makes it so much easier for people, especially in phase 1. Right. Yeah. And then I love how, and we've talked about this too, like
the protocol makes it easier, is what you
protocol. Yes. The protocol makes it so much easier during weight loss. Right. Yep. But then as you start to learn habits like meal prepping and those kinds of things, that prepares you for that maintenance life. And that's still a crazy scheduled, stressful job.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
I think what I love too about the Ideal Protocol is it teaches you, these beautiful people teach you how to look at food, how to read your labels, what everything means. So I've learned how to eat again. And when people have asked me, how'd you lose your weight? Because, I've actually lost weight years and years ago on fen-phen. So I've had the prescriptions to help me in the past, but I'm so excited to tell them that I've done it with food. I've done it with food, and I've learned to eat. I've learned how to eat again, is what I tell people, and their mind is just blown. It's just blown. Like they just assume, are you taking blah, blah, blah? Oh, you must be taking. Nope. I learned how to eat again, and I get all the support in the world. And I just don't know what I would do without this program. I just don't. I feel so blessed every day. I'm grateful every day. I have a whole new life, and I'm just excited about it. And I can honestly say I have not yet gone to a fast food joint, not one time. I have made that choice. I have not had a McDonald's French fry. I have not had a taco from Taco Bell. I have a different name for it, so I have
again, I'm trying to keep this a family show.
Yeah, I've yet to have any of those. So I've had my moments. I've indulged in some things that I love on occasion, and I've gotten right back on track. So I'm not going to deny myself those things for the rest of my life. But one thing I will deny and encourage you all to do: no fast food.
And, it's a great point because too, and when we talk about maintenance, I always tell people there has to be a place for unhealthy food in a healthy relationship with food, right? It's just that when you saw that picture of me back in the day, that was my lifestyle. That was my relationship with food, was unhealthy food, right? But like you said, there are some things that you do need to enjoy occasionally. And I would challenge you to have a McDonald's French fry, because you'd be like, oh my God, like what?
It probably would be awful.
That's terrible. It just,
Can I read you something, John, real quick? It's
please.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Can I share this now? Yeah. This is just one of the things she filled out in April. So this would be almost 2 years ago, April, when she was a few months into maintenance. She said, I love my new relationship with food. I don't feel trapped. I have confidence in the choices I make and look forward to my meals. Food does not talk to me now. I tell food what to do for me. I get to be more active with my grandson and can now lift him up for big hugs when he runs to me. I also don't get as tuckered out much when we play. Isn't that fantastic?
That is absolutely fantastic. And again, it's to be able to play with your grandson that way. It's priceless.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? I just love that your food doesn't talk to you.
That quote.
You're the boss.
And again, I love this because nobody shared this quote with me during pre-interviews. I love the stuff that comes out during the show. What a quote. Food doesn't talk to me anymore. I tell it what to do for me.
Yeah. Revolutionary, right?
And for the longest time, I would, when I would record my little things for my silly friend group, I would say, and I'm 52 and I get to do what I want to do. So I do that with my food too. So I tell the food what to do, and now I'll have to find a new rhyme when I'm 53 and I'll make it work. Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. I wanted to go back because Pauline, you had actually set yourself up with all kinds of great data and stories, or at least milestones from Tina's phase 1 journey. What are some of those things that you'd like to share with us that you have? First off, you mentioned, and I haven't heard it, but can you share Tina's why to even get started? I think that you do that with your client. What is your why?
Yes, but let me see. I don't have that.
Do we have that as far as getting started?
Her why. I want to feel good and have less pain. I also want to like my body more than I do now. I want to be able to move better and feel healthy so I can be much more active.
There it is, right?
And you had a mantra through your whole journey.
Oh, I've had this mantra through
your life.
Yeah, the majority of my life. I
am beautiful.
I am beautiful. My life has meaning. There's a reason why I'm here, and I will follow through.
Yep.
Wow.
I used to say it every day.
You used to say it every day.
Yeah, I mean, I always go back to it, but for many years of my life, I had to wake up saying that all of the time in the mirror, and I think I came up with that mantra in like 1998.
Wow.
So, yeah.
How powerful is that? Oh my God. I love that.
It's actually interesting because when we first brought it up today, you're like, yeah, what is that?
I know. I haven't honestly said it in a while. I was like, oh, that's
maybe
right.
Now you just live it. You don't have to remind yourself of it.
I do share it with other people, and I do have it on my work desk in case I need it. So, yeah.
But you know, too, and the way that I kind of look at that, because I've had similar personal experiences, to me, we adopt something like that because we have to convince ourselves of that. We need that. We need that daily reminder. We need that convincing. We need that self-talk. And what it tells when you say, what was that? And that you haven't necessarily had to do that. Again, this is what I would put this under the definition of life possible, right? You don't have to convince yourself anymore. Right. You know that you are, and you're living that life. And now you're turning around and trying to help others do the same. Mm-hmm. And I love that you said that you share that with others. And it's to me, it's the hero's journey, right? And Pauline, we've talked about this. Mm-hmm. It's the hero's journey. And the hero goes on, they start from being a victim and being stuck, and they take on the journey. They get a map and a guide, which we like to call the Ideal Protein Protocol and the Ideal Protein Coach, go through a transformation and become a hero. But then they want to help as many people as they can, and they turn around and they try to share that journey with as many people as they can and help them do the same. And I feel like Tina's in that. She's right in that zone right now.
Yeah, she's amazing. So let me tell you some statistics.
Yeah, let's talk stats.
So when Tina started at 49, her metabolic age was 64.
Wow.
Okay,
At 49, metabolically, she was considered 64.
Yep, 64. Her BMI was 46.3. Her body fat was 51.9. Her water was 35%. So her water was low, her BMI, her body fat were high, and her visceral fat was 17, which would be high. So 3 of those markers being in the red, high, and then water being she was really dehydrated.
Yeah.
So I could go through lots of different markers in her journey, but I'll just give you last week. So now at, now at 52, 3 years later, her BMI is 25.9 instead of 46.3, just to give you a direct comparison.
Wow. Right.
So she's in the green. Her body fat is now 28.6, middle of the green versus 51.9.
Yep.
Her body water is 49.1, way green versus 35.
Whoa.
Her body fat, I skipped that, I think, is 20. Oh, I think I said that. BMI, did I cover all of them?
Yep.
Oh, her visceral fat went from a 12 to a 6. So 3 years later, she went from her 40s to her 50s. And she is like phenomenal. Oh, her metabolic age is 37.
Oh my God, there it is. I was just going to say, tell me about that metabolic age.
Right?
Wow.
Is that the coolest thing? So she aged
So I've been reborn.
3 years, but she's just gone backwards in everything else, which is just amazing.
You cut your metabolic age pretty much in half,
right?
And again went from being 15 years older metabolically to being however many years younger metabolically.
15, actually.
Yeah, right.
Now that you mention it.
15 on this side to 15 on that side,
That's
right?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about that.
Huge accomplishments.
We were talking about that before the camera started rolling, and I said, Tina, you're 50. What are you, 52 right now?
Yeah.
But how old do you feel?
Honestly, I would say in my 20s, late 20s. I feel great. I went to the trampoline zone with my grandson and jumped all over those trampolines, and I jumped off the cliff. Now, I didn't do it the first time I went because I did get a little scared when I was up there. So the second time I went, I jumped off the cliff and fell into the, poofy
the pit
stuff.
Yeah.
Went down this and climbed. I climbed up these to get onto the slides like a little rock. It wasn't a rock wall, but I still had to climb, to get there. Yeah. And I did it pretty much with ease. I just feel like I have a whole new life. I really do. It's just,
I was going to say, where's the video? Where's the video on this? Like, you should have been.
I have a little slow clip of us jumping down in slow motion. But
oh my God. That's so cool.
That's awesome.
And again, and again, this lady is not doing that. She's not doing that.
No, she wasn't. She absolutely
would you have
was not.
tried, or you just wouldn't have gone?
I wouldn't have tried in this state. I would have tried to get on a carnival ride in this state, and that's when I had to get off of it.
And I can't imagine too, like you said, with the pain and the immobility that you were experiencing at this stage of your game, there's no way you're bouncing on trampolines, climbing walls, and jumping off cliffs. That's just not possible, right?
No, it was not.
Yeah.
Shall we
talk about 3?
Yes, let's talk about phase 3 maintenance. Let's talk about this side of the journey. Well,
I watched her video. She did a short video for us when she hit her goal weight in that 100-pound picture, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And do you remember what your word was that you couldn't stop saying? Do you remember?
Gosh.
Mm-hmm.
She just kept saying freedom.
Oh, yes.
I'm free. I'm free.
I said it too many times, to be honest. I was so taken off guard. I was not prepared in any way. But yes, I do feel free.
Yeah. And so I love that. And let's just talk about phase 3. So I think we all know that losing weight, you can do it lots of different ways, right? I mean, you can lose weight, but there's a totally different thing that happens when you make a commitment to keep it off. And Tina has made that commitment. And we have always, John, you and I, as long as we've done Ideal Protein, we've always had a plan and a structure and coaching for maintenance. And we certainly have a lot of people who do that. But Tina has like been committed. Like she is a rock star. And as rock star as she is to lose the weight, I just, that's why you and I first talked about this, is that she's been a rock star for what matters the most. Like, to me, it's not about losing weight. It has to be about the commitment to keep it off. And she religiously, did you even miss a week the first year in maintenance? A week of coming in?
Of maintenance? I don't believe so.
No, I don't think it was until the second year that you went to more like a 30-day
It did. Sequence. I started to taper off a little bit, but always came back in. I've never given up, ever. And I've come back in more when I've needed more. But yeah, I'm fully in, and I still weigh all my food. Doesn't bother me at all. I still drink. I count all my waters. I keep my routine. I enjoy my routine, so that makes it easier. I don't enjoy getting thrown off my routine by my work schedule, but I try not to panic, and I get through it.
We've panicked a couple times.
Yeah.
Should we talk about one or two of them?
Yeah, I've had a couple moments where I thought I was really good and on track, because my first camping experience after getting into maintenance, I did so great. I mean, I packed up all of my stuff and took everything I needed with me, watching everyone eat, their burgers and, stuff like that. But I felt great. Well, this year, was it August? So I got married in July. So I had my moment at my wedding. I had my carrot cake and my wedding food and had a delicious day. And then in August, we went camping to celebrate. And I prepared all of my things. But little by little, being busy throughout that season, I fell off track a little bit and I didn't even realize it. And I weighed myself at home and about panicked, had a little attack and called her immediately, got my buns in here and
got back on track.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cookies after Christmas.
Oh yes, the cookies.
What year was that? Was that
I've had hiccups with cookies. My husband's a baker. He's a really good baker.
Oh, right. I remember you saying that.
Normally I can let it go, and he, it's and I can see them on the counter and not be, but if I have one, I'm done. I'm a goner. So I think I had a dozen cookies. Yeah.
Well,
but again, you know what she did?
Certainly not just you.
The next day, I think you called.
Yes, I called.
And you were like,
I need an intervention.
Woke up in the middle of the night. I kept eating cookies. And I mean, you and I both know that is successful. Like you did it. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not about that we slip up. It's what do we do next every time?
And that's the thing, that her reflex was to, oh, no, I got to get back in. Again, even just coming in and saying hi to your coach.
Shame is no longer king, because the second that door opens, you're like, and you open a different door, and you have this down to a mechanical, you do it with so successfully and beautifully.
Well,
yeah. And I haven't
done it alone. So,
and I don't think she, initially, when we started talking about doing this podcast, thought all that highly of herself to share her story.
Yeah. I felt like a disappointment. I got down. I got really down because I felt on the top of the world that I was doing great things and I wanted to be, inspirational. And then I had that hiccup and it was all over for me. Mm-hmm. I fell apart. I really fell apart. But
what'd you do?
I got back up. I called you.
Right. And that's
I think you left me a message. I did. Saved it because it was pretty epic.
I cried and I had a little meltdown.
Well, and two, Pauline, did you mention that she's got a why statement for maintenance as well?
Yes. Yeah. I closed that. She does. This is from a couple years ago, but she's really lived it. So phase 3 goals, she said, I'm looking forward to creating new memories to look back on, being comfortable in my skin. I love that so much because in its simplicity, it's also so powerful, and it's everybody, right? Because pictures, they tell us so much, whether it was like a hard season and we smiled anyway and we remember that, or we stood behind people and remember why we were standing behind in the picture, you know, so they tell us so much. So to say I want to have new memories to look back on where I feel good about myself, I think it's huge. I think that's everybody. She said, I'm excited to go camping this year. I get to enjoy the lake, the inner tube. Have you been on an inner tube?
Yes. And it's really hard to get out of one when you're, you know, 229 pounds. It's impossible to get out of one. So I was able to get in and out by myself and, you know, feel comfortable wearing a bathing suit of some sort and not feeling like, you know,
girl, you're hot in a swimsuit.
And getting in and out of the boat, I could get in and out of the boat by myself. I didn't have to have somebody pull me in and drag me out. You know, because I have my stature a little bit against me too, being 4'10". So.
Well, that's the thing. You know, you were saying that 229, you throw that number out there, and we talked about that being, you know, your highest weight. But how tall are you?
4'10".
4'10".
Yes.
I never realized you're 4'10".
Yeah. I mean, at one point I was 4'10 3/4, but I have shrunk over time.
No, but
you know
what?
We're talking about how she looks younger and thinner now, 2 years after her goal pictures. It's really interesting. Yeah. Like all of her skin and her body's just like settled in at this new weight.
It has settled in.
Down.
Settled in and down just as much.
There's some
I'll take it. I will take it.
But so I think, hang on, but I think I don't want to get past comfortable in my skin, because I think that, like you said, it's a very simplistic and powerful way to say she doesn't have to convince herself anymore by reading her mantra about who she is. Right? I think those two things go hand in hand tremendously.
Yeah.
That's so great. Sorry. Keep going, Paul.
No, that's okay. I love it because I get to enjoy the lake, inner tube, and boat. I can get into with ease now. Okay.
And new memories. That whole trampoline thing is a new memory, right? That's memories that your grandson is going to have. It's not just your memories; it's their memories too.
You know, we all when we do a photo thing or whatever, we like to go back and find the pictures where we feel good. That's the truth, right? We want to use the ones where we.
Yes, that is true.
And so you get to have a lot. You've had 3 years of those pictures.
Yes, I have great pictures now that I get to look back on. Fun pictures, you know. Yeah. And I was that girl that would position myself in a way, and I think everybody does it. Positions themselves in a way to have that good angle, and I don't care what angle it is, because I know I'm going to look like I want to look.
That is so powerful.
I don't have to worry about my angles anymore.
Yeah.
So exciting.
You know, I tell people a lot when they say, like if they're getting tired of the phase 3 journey, you know, I'll sit there and I go, what are you tired of? Like, are you tired of prepping vegetables? Are you tired of having a plan? Are you tired of drinking water? Like, let's really dial in. What are we talking about here? Because then I try to remind them, like, that all seems like work, but you have to remember what you were doing before. It's hard to not want to get out of bed in the morning. It's hard to have sleepless nights. Right. It's hard to go through your whole closet and not figure out what you want to wear.
Yes.
It's hard to run into a friend that you have to go hide in the corner of the grocery store because you don't actually want to run into them after the last 10 years, or hide in a picture. So, like, you know, it may be hard to do your vegetables or have a plan, but one hard, when you really dial them in, is usually much better than the other.
And when I had those dozen cookies, a dozen, I instantly, not quite instantly, but pretty much my autoimmune response was almost instantaneous. So I felt the pain coming on and was miserable the next day. So that will trigger me as well to help me make good choices. Now that I know that food has so much to do with it.
Much. It's everything to do with it.
That's what we try to focus our people on. You know, to me, number one, and it's part of my personal journey as well, I expected to lose weight, but I didn't expect all the other stuff. And when my arthritis pain literally just melted away, when my energy returned and my GI tract cleared up, I was kind of like, whoa, wait, what? Yeah. Like I can feel like this again. And then when you start getting to that maintenance, that is exactly then what we try to teach people is how does food truly affect your body? Because when you're overweight, sick, and depressed the way that I was, and you just feel bad all the time, there's no cause effect, right? Yeah. But when you feel great and then you overdo it and start getting in some of that, and you're just kind of like, whoa, like why do I hurt so bad today? Yeah. Or, you know, hey, what's going on with I don't feel so good, right? Or I don't have any energy, or, oh my God, where's all the fog? I can't even, my brain's not working.
Yeah.
It's so neat to see the light bulb come on for people. And those are your indicator lights, even more than that scale.
Oh yeah. The non-scale victory. I mean, the way it affects your life is so much more important than a number on the scale. Yeah,
I think that the people that are the people that are most successful in maintenance understand that piece. And so here we are. We're in December. We're going to get to January. My favorite thing to hear as we get to see our friends again, everybody coming back in January for that tune-up, right? Oh, Doc, I just want to feel good again.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it's about. It's about kind of detoxifying, getting that metabolism revving again, and then let's move on.
Yeah. Yeah. And do good phase 3 because it works over and over and over again. Yeah. So her maintenance why, I was answering her goals.
Yeah.
Anyway, my overall happiness is off the charts. I feel comfortable and love my new body. Being almost pain-free pushes me to continue on the path of good for the foods and healthy habits.
That's awesome. Yeah.
You know what I love was the big eye-opening thing too is that sheet for what's in your pantry.
Yeah.
I love the what's in your pantry sheet. I've shared it with a few of my friends, people at work, and it was fun to, as my journey progressed, to have everything in the green, pretty much. Aside from a few of the condiments, I don't have anything in my pantry for food. Everything I buy goes in my fridge.
Love that.
It's either freezer or fridge, and half the time I just have to put it in my freezer because I got to save it from going bad for the week. But my veggies and my berries, and because I put that in I put my fruit in the fridge. But I don't have anything in my pantry, and if I did, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I love that.
I love that.
I love that too. And I think people miss that aspect of the program. The way I like to describe it today, because there's a big focus on highly processed foods, what it's doing to our health and the obesity epidemic in the country. And, our goal is to teach people healthy, whole food nutrition for life, right? But we have to start somewhere. And so we meet people where they are. The ideal protein foods we use as tremendous tools, but they're also fun. They mimic some of the things that we might be used to.
They're easy.
But they help us get to that point. Yes. Where, like you said, right?
They find a bridge. That's beautiful.
The bridge from old me to new me.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. And so now that phase 2, phase 3 system is where we learn healthy whole food nutrition.
I love phase 2 and phase 3. I just love it.
Right. I'm telling you, and I tell people, we have just as much confidence in that phase 2, 3 system now as we've always had in phase 1.
Yeah.
We've always had that confidence. But when I first started 10 years ago, we didn't have the confidence in the maintenance piece. Right.
I don't know if you feel this way, but I know a lot of clients will tell me months into maintenance, they'll say, my husband cannot believe how much food I eat and keep my weight off. Because it's not about calories. It's not about how much food. It's about the right type of food. It's about
the right combos, the right type. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
I feel like I can still get a good of heavy, high volume foods that I enjoy. I choose certain things over other things because I'm a volume eater. I want the volume. So it's working for me. And I've found ways to, I can have that. I grew up thinking that was like a naughty food. So realizing what fats I can eat and, you know, that will go with this and that has just been so exciting. I love it. I love this journey. I love it.
Well, and you've done amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
What else we have here? Oh, we should say that. Is it 5 or is it 7?
I think it's 7.
7. She is literally, as much as she has weighed in consistently for the last 2 years, like this month, 2 years ago was when she started, when she went into
right. You were saying December 22, right? Yep.
So phase 3, 2 years ago, she has never gone outside of like a 5 to 7 pound window ever. And mostly she's always in a 1 to 2 pound window, which is amazing. Even when she had her moments of freaking out, like that's just amazing.
Yeah. When you originally were describing her to me, Pauline, when I was asking you about, hey, do you have somebody we could have on the show? When you sent that in the email, I thought it was a typo. I thought it was, you know, within 5% or 7% of her. No, it's not percent. It's actually pounds, which is, that's absolutely unfathomable. That's
right.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Because we know the body has an energy gap, and we know that those cells are there, and they're listening to our instructions. They're listening to what we do. And you've just done such an amazing job. And the reality that you struggled with your weight for so long before. You had one thing you tried for like 6 months, and you only lost like 5 pounds.
That was Nutrisystem.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And,
but I mean, you know,
that was tough. Nutrisystem was tough.
It's not like your body just did it and then it, you know what I mean? Like you really.
Yeah, I struggled with that one.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge success.
And it took me, when I was 40, I lost about 45 pounds, but it took me 2 years to do it. That's when I was doing Zumba, body pump. 2 hours a day half the time. I was eating as clean as I could. I wasn't sleeping much, and they realized that I needed a little bit of a sleep assistance for a short period of time, and that's when some of the weight started to really fall. But I had to work even way harder than I could have possibly imagined to get those minimal results than to just learn how to eat.
Right.
I just needed to learn how to eat.
Right. So. And that goes back to my favorite saying is that, you know what, we lose weight in the kitchen and we get fit in the gym. And those are two separate things. And unfortunately, the fitness industry would have you believe that you lose weight in the gym. And that's why that's how they get you every January to re-up and forget about your membership and then keep paying it for so long. Right.
And it is an important part of your overall health for sure.
Well, but that's
where the weight loss happens. Absolutely.
That's the thing. There are a million other reasons to exercise, but weight loss should not be in that equation. That shouldn't be such a significant part of what's going on. Because the minute you can't, the minute you get injured, the minute something happens in your life and you can't exercise, well, there it goes out the window. Right. But oh my gosh, the number one reason being stress and anxiety relief for exercise. And, you know, you can just then go down the pipe as far as cardiovascular.
But that changes so much by how you eat also.
Right.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Well, I see in Tina the confidence, right? She is a confident person now, confident woman now who tells her food what to do and doesn't listen to it. And I think she was telling her cells and her body what to do. Right. I mean, I think she just takes charge these days.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I think one time we actually said that your autoimmune was almost like a little bit of a blessing in the sense that it does tell you so quickly that you need to make that's not the habits you want to go back to. Right.
Correct. Yep. That's not, I don't want to stay that course. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No, that's a great reframe as far as, you know, unfortunately having that situation goes. Yeah, it is a blessing.
Yeah. So has there been any foods that you've had in phase 3, fast food you haven't had? Is there any foods that you have found that do trigger you to feel like so you just avoided them because of that? Because I always say in phase 3, you can eat almost anything. You just have to learn how to eat it. Like,
you just have to learn how.
You know?
I think I've had a couple sushi moments where I may have eaten up too much sushi. It basically is when I have failed in the sweets department, mainly, or the high carb department. I love rice, but rice is, again, not something I want to focus on. My carb intake for what I'm allowed, I rather do that with berries or with a sweet potato or something of that nature, just because I get more volume out of that than the rice. But I will treat myself on occasion to a sushi here and there.
I love that. Sweet potato instead of rice. I love that.
Yeah. And I love rice, but I want to eat a lot of rice, and I don't get to eat a lot of rice. So that's a game changer for sure. Somebody
said to me last Friday in a maintenance appointment, they said, my carbs, it's kind of like the cash in my wallet. I only have so much to spend. Right. So I think we talked about that too, right?
So
they're like, so I really am like, what am I going to spend it on? Because when I'm out, I'm out. I love that analogy. I've thought of that a ton. In fact, I told you about it later.
You did. That was amazing.
I just wrote it down. That is a brilliant analogy. Yeah. It's a brilliant analogy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? The key to it is your body's carbohydrate tolerance level, right? Like how much carbs can your body tolerate before it starts to slip into that insulin resistance, into those symptoms, into that weight gain, right? And it's just staying within that boundary.
Yeah.
I really feel like if I just am staying away from all the processed foods, that helps my inflammation as a whole. So that's why I focus mainly on the outside.
Right.
And, not that I don't have my spices and my IP snacks and all those kinds of things, but it's really,
I think we would
like rye bread. I can't think of anything that's not, that I don't have to put in the fridge.
Yeah. No, you said it brilliantly, right? Shopping around the outside of the supermarket is where all of the whole foods live, right? As opposed to going up and down those aisles with all of those highly processed foods. In this day and age, and especially with the career you've got, et cetera, it would be naive to think that we're not going to need some kind of convenience store packaged foods that we can't get by without having those. But when they're ideal protein foods, when they're foods that are created with the most highly absorbable, useful, and complete proteins on the planet, it's such a low carb, low fat content. They're never going to bite you. They're never going to cause any problems. They're not going to flare up your autoimmune problems, right? And
I kept buying them. I've always come in to be a shopper for sure.
There's tools.
Whether I weighed in or not, I'm always getting food.
What's funny is that we just really don't know. Like most people don't know how significantly overprocessed the bread they buy at the grocery store is. Like I make all my kids' breads. Well, it goes bad in like 3 or 4 days.
Right.
Like so fresh bread goes bad really quickly. Our bread, our ideal protein bread, leave that on the counter. In fact, I think I'm going to do like a spin on this. It will mold. It will go bad. But I store-bought bread sit on my refrigerator on the top for months and not go bad.
You're like, hey, it's still pretty good.
Funny story. We have a nice grocery store around here, but I won't say their name. But I bought bread from there once for a showing at a house, like for an open house years ago. And it was in this basket. And I thought we had all these events for this house. And so I thought I'd leave it out. Well, until it went bad. 2 years later, it's from the bakery.
Wow.
At the store, and it never went bad.
Wow.
So a lot of people don't really know. Yeah, but you're right. Like over-processed food, it's not what our gut needs. And our body doesn't know how to recognize it, like eating a little bit too much fruit or like eating too much sweet potatoes or like eating too much of a whole food. Our body knows how to digest that and respond to it so much better. And that is why your avoidance of that's amazing. But it is also probably why your body has been able to respond so much better as a whole regarding weight regain or not regaining.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And the trigger hunger, right?
Yes, there are. Yeah. A lot of them.
Yeah. Sorry, John.
So Tina, as we bring this to a close, if somebody was talking to you on the street, and if you were to say like one thing that would be make the decision, oh, I just don't know if I should or I shouldn't, what would you say to them?
Well, I would tell them to make the investment, to choose themselves and invest in their life. That's what I would tell them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Pauline, when thinking about Tina's story, the one thing, what is the most important thing, or the one thing that kind of stands out to you about her journey that again you pass on, or you want to pass on to other clients?
It's really Tina's commitment to keeping the weight off. I mean, because I could work with, I do work with people all the time, and they come in to lose the weight and then they walk out, and I constantly am saying, let me just at least teach you what it looks like to eat in a way to keep your weight off. So many people leave weight loss and they just leave with this idea that it's all about restriction, what I can't eat. And it's the wrong message. It's so much about like, what can you eat? Like there's so much that you can eat, feel amazing, and live, and not have to stay on the yo-yo cycle. That, I mean, I'm familiar with, so many of us are familiar with. And so the fact that she stayed engaged all these last 2 years, the fact that she had slip ups, she had moments where she felt out of control, and her response was the right response. Because I always tell people that is going to come. In fact, I told you in your video, it's going to come. There will be moments where you feel out of control with food again, where that relationship, you just had like a little bit of a miscommunication with the food in the middle of the night. And then the next day you're like, I got this, and you dealt with it. And that's really about it, too, what it's about too. Like I would love to just always be telling people what she's done for phase 3, because it's not just about losing weight. It's about keeping it off, right? Absolutely. It's about not just, it's about changing your life. It's about life possible. I mean, you say it all the time when you do these podcasts, and it doesn't have to be something really big or outrageous. It's about living every day differently, because there's nothing holding you back, because you're free. And your weight doesn't make that decision for you. And she just lives that out.
Your weight doesn't make that decision. You drop that bomb at the end.
Yeah.
Your weight doesn't make that decision as to what you can and can't do. I love that. Yeah, no. And it's so funny, as I'm asking you that question, I'm like, commitment. To me, I think that if we were to sum up, it's commitment. And I love the fact that if people get that from one thing from this show, yes, it's absolutely a commitment to start the program and to do phase 1. But man, it is another commitment to maintenance. And that is the make or break. I love that.
And it is what sets Ideal Protein apart from, I don't know everything out there to lose weight, but I do believe it's what sets us apart from most things out there that help you lose weight. That you have somebody that is going to continue to help you learn how to respond to all the things about food that are going to come up, whether that's occasions, whether that's stress, whether that's loss, whether that's just the food talk. A lot of people have the food talk that she kind of describes, like how she changed that relationship with food talk. But whatever that is in life that has led to people tripping up before, like to have somebody that's going to talk to you constantly about how to do it differently.
The support is so valuable. It is just so valuable.
Right. We talk about the importance of a coach during phase 1 and during weight loss, but man, the importance during phase 3 maintenance is huge.
Yeah, it is huge. It is huge. And I love that Tina just proves that it works, because we all know that there is for somebody's life to change, somebody can lose 10 pounds and that can change their life for them. But losing 100 pounds is just a lot harder to actually keep off. And she totally did it. Look at that.
That's nuts.
I
love my new life. I do. I want everybody to love their life. Make the choice, people, because it's just amazing.
And her name changed because she got married.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. Her name changed. She got married, and again, living absolutely life possible.
Yes. Well, and not because it was easy. right?
No.
For her, it wasn't easy. Job wasn't easy. Night shifts aren't easy. You know, husband who cooks all the time wasn't easy. And she still made the commitment and did it, invested in herself, both in time and money and choices that she made. I'm sorry, I was just cut you off.
Yeah, no, it bears repeating over and over again, because again, hopefully that's going to be the make or break for someone else to make the decision to get started. So yeah, you know what? Thank you again, ladies, for spending this time with us, for sharing your story with Ideal Protein Nation. I can't wait to see what's next. I can't wait to see what memories. And we're going to have to be friends on Facebook, because I want to see
That's
all
right.
the things that you do.
The climbing up the stairs video to trampoline park, that one. I want to see that video.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Hang out backstage. I'll be back to talk to you guys afterwards. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Dr. John. Bye.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thus concludes another episode of the Life Possible podcast. Like I said, I hope that you found something in Tina's story that you connect with, whether it was the pain that she was feeling, physical pain, as well as emotional pain that she felt. You know, being overweight is hard. Losing weight is hard. You got to choose your hard. But I'm telling you, if you make this choice, you will never, ever regret it. And Tina is living proof of that. So as always, please like, subscribe, and pass on the show to your friends. The video for the show, as you might be watching, is on Facebook. It's on YouTube. And the audio for the show is on all audio platforms. Stay tuned in the coming weeks as I bring you more new episodes. I'm back in the studio. We're recording new stuff. I'm very excited about what we've got going. Going to have a holiday episode and the New Year episode coming up with my friend and colleague, Wendy White-Stevens. We look into 2025 and talk about commitments and goals and other things. So as always, I want you to keep committed to yourself, keep committed to the Ideal Protein program, and continue to pursue your own life possible.